Ian here with Simpawtico Dog Training. Now, we just released our video on early puppy socialization, and in that video we featured excerpts from an interview with Dr. Mike Brennen and Dr. Kathryn Hughes at Lake Road Animal Hospital and Kennels in Elmira, New York. Our entire conversation, though, ended up being so damn good that I thought it would be useful for you to be able to see it if you're interested. As usual, we'll have notes, links, and resources in the description about the stuff we talked about. There are also timestamps if you'd like to skip to parts that are more relevant to you, but the whole thing is definitely worth a watch in my opinion. I hope you enjoy it and find something helpful.
Okay, hello, I'm Dr. Mike Brennen. I'm the medical director and owner of Lake Road Animal Hospital.
Awesome.
Hi, Kathy Hughes, veterinarian, been here for many years. Been a veterinarian for longer than most people here have been alive.
Wow.
Most.
And I enjoy working here very much.
Very good. Very good. So, as I said, we're focusing on early socialization. I know you and I had talked before about that briefly.
Yeah.
And so, what I'm finding is that there's still kind of a black hole in between 12 and 16 weeks. But 12 and 16 weeks developmentally I know is a really super critical period as far as socialization goes. And I still see a lot of puppy owners sequestering their dogs during that period, mainly due to vaccinations and other recommendations that they've either read online or gotten from their vets. So what is your view on that?
Yeah, I think in general, veterinary medicine, you go back 20, 30 years, and I think the recommendations were wait till they're fully vaccinated at about 4 months of age. I think certainly the behavior community and I think most veterinarians have changed that thought just because of your point. Our socialization in our puppies starts probably 6-7 weeks of age,
right,
and is really shutting down at 14 weeks of age. So if we're waiting till then, we're really missing an opportunity to create confident, well-developed, well-behaved animals. So
and they do go through multiple fear periods, not just during that time, but also, through into, adolescence and even early adulthood.
Yeah.
And so if you're working hard to get your dog out and about around new people, around other dogs, that sort of thing from the very beginning, even if you catch them, someday where they're having a really bad day, it's not like, well, forget it, I'm not going to do this anymore, we're all done. It's just, part of the process, and it's okay, we'll come back and do the same thing the next day or the next time, and you might have completely different results.
Right.
But I also tell people, I have people coming in, the breeder told me, this puppy can't go see any other dogs until it's, 4 months old or whatever. And it's like, that's just really wrong. And, as long as your dog has got a half-decent immune system and the vaccines are given appropriately and at the right time, you need to get them out, and you need to get them around people, other dogs, strange places, every place you can think of to go, and every other place you can think of to go.
Sure. Right. So at least I agree with that. Geez, we could just stop right there. And thanks. That was great. Perfect.
Yeah, I think we have a common belief on what is good practice. Because, that's a reality. Infectious disease, this is their most vulnerable time. So you do have to look at that. But I think what our policy has been for 20 years probably now, and I think the progressive veterinary community is the same, is we want our puppies to have their initial veterinary exam. We want them to have their initial vaccines, be dewormed, fecal exams, and we want every puppy they're going into class with to have that. And then my opinion is get them together as soon as possible.
Right.
And I commonly hear people say, oh, he's around a lot of other dogs. My brother has 2 dogs, and they come over to play all the time. Or, my mother-in-law, we take them over to my mother-in-law's. It's like, well, good, they're well socialized to one family and 2 dogs. It's not going to cut it in real life, you know. And it's really hard to get that concept through to some owners. And it doesn't matter if they have a purebred dog or a mixed breed dog, or they got it from the shelter or whatever. I think it's hard to get people to grasp that concept of how important it is to get them off the property, strange places, strange people, that sort of thing.
Yes, thank you so much for saying that, because I feel like I have that conversation all the time. And I ask, I'm like, okay, what has your socialization regimen been like? I mean, how many other dogs and people has your dog played with? Oh, well, we have another dog. Yeah. I'm like,
or my neighbor's got a dog.
Right, yeah. My sister brings her dog over
together.
Right. And that's just not...
Yeah. It's not,
Yeah.
It's a big, crazy world we live.
Right. I feel like as a behavioral consultant, I'm called into people's homes, or they come see me at the studio, and they have, a laundry list of behavior problems. And in my mind, I feel like many of those can be traced back to under-socialization. I mean, obviously between then and now, there's other extenuating circumstances that may, exacerbate certain behavior problems. But I feel like that's the root cause right there. And it's troubling to me, because I feel like those things are all predictable and preventable.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, and it's discouraging.
I think that's accurate. I think probably 90% of our behavioral issues were issues that could have been prevented with good socialization, good training.
I mean, how often do you
just some structure growing up?
Yeah, look back on a record and you can see, hi, this dog is, anxious, he's fearful, it's really important to socialize and discuss this. Next puppy visit, same thing. And then the dog comes in to see us at, a year of age, and now it's big and it's terrified, and it either has to be muzzled or sedated, or it can't come in unless it's drugged. And, I think, gosh, I talk to these people time and time again about doing the things that could have prevented this, and look where we are.
Right.
And that's discouraging to me, because, I don't want people's pets to be terrified of anything, especially people like us. We do this because we love animals.
Right.
Right,
and that, I feel like that's a detrimental effect on that animal's quality of life.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's like
being afraid of the world is no fun.
Exactly. So one thing that I've tried to explain to people, and I'm interested in your professional opinion, is I've said too that socialization doesn't always have to be toe-to-toe or nose-to-nose. Sometimes it's just having a good experience in proximity to new things. So I've recommended, for example, I am not a big fan of dog parks, but I've said, go to the, I'm guessing they're not either. But I've said,
very much.
Go to the dog park and stand outside of it, and just say like, hey, look at all the dogs over there playing, and you and I are going to have lunch together here.
Give them lots of treats.
Right. Right. Some of that great classical conditioning, just something great is happening in proximity to this thing. Or delivery vans, or parking lots, or farmers markets.
Absolutely.
You don't have to wade through it.
Festivals and
yes.
Schoolyards.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And there's a lot of places now that are dog friendly. Like I routinely will take my
it's
dogs into Home Depot, Lowe's, and just walk around and do basic obedience there. So they're they're in a weird place, but they're familiar. They're trusting me to give them the cues that they need to do what they need to do. And even some of the other stores that you can go in with dogs, as long as your dog's not a maniac.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, this is super. So with my classes, my puppy classes, my policy has been, like you said, everybody has to come in with at least their second round, given a week before, just to make sure that there's no, wacky reactions or anything. And we keep the place pretty clean. And I know we've talked about that that's pretty safe for them, but I have also recommended, and you tell me if you think this is wrong, that if you are around other vaccinated dogs, you're probably going to be okay. I recommend that they carry the dog through parking lots, because parking lots are filthy. But if you get into a clean environment after that, then it's usually okay to noodle around and explore a little bit. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's excellent advice. I generally tell people, that sort of thing, that if you can get into a puppy class, that's great. Have at least 2 vaccines, preferably not just one at like 6 weeks and 7 weeks of age. With some of the puppies that come out of puppy stores, they have interesting vaccine protocols. So something appropriate.
I'm not sure
what
but, standards they're reading.
Yeah, but and same thing. They can walk on the ground, but try to keep them out of areas where there's a lot of contamination. If they're around other puppies that are safe puppies and vaccinated, sure, let them get started with that and explore and chew on things and do all the things that puppies do.
The puppies do.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So along those lines, actually, and again, I'm really interested in your feedback here, is
general public places, so meeting grounds with the parks and those sorts of things. What I said about the first round of shots, that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about a structured environment that you're going to provide.
Right.
And you're sure everyone else has had their shots.
Right.
Going out to the parks and into general public, I like to see at least their 12 week. The 12-week vaccine is probably the most important vaccine our pets are going to get. Most dogs are going to convert at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So after that vaccine, I'm more comfortable with them getting a little more worldly.
Okay. So that goes right into what I was going to ask. So in regards to potty training, again, some pushback or questions, I guess I should say, from clients and students is, I'm having trouble potty training my puppy because I can't take them into my yard. And so my stance has been, well, if you have a fenced yard and other animals don't go traipsing through it, it's probably okay. If you have only public property, well, then maybe rethink it a little bit, But from what I'm hearing after the 12-week vaccine, then it should probably be okay even in that
your
case,
own
right?
yard, that's
think,
immediate.
I was just saying, I don't have any problem at all. I mean, it's different if they live in an apartment complex and there's a bazillion other dogs around.
Right.
And that's probably not the best place to take your newly vaccinated puppy or unvaccinated puppy. But if you've got your own home and your own yard and that sort of a thing, and there's not access of stray animals or diseased animals to that, they should start taking them out 5 minutes after they get them home.
Exactly.
Right.
Day one.
And lose the puppy pads. Sorry.
Thank
I'm not a
you.
big fan.
We're not puppy fans.
What the hell? You've got a frickin' Great Dane. Put it on a puppy pad. No. It doesn't make any sense.
It's cold outside.
That's funny that you said that, because in the video that I just published last week, I said that exact thing. I said, ditch the pads. Thank you.
I mean, why train them to go in the house?
Right.
And then try to train them to go outside.
Right.
Get a cat.
Yeah.
Or a goldfish. Get a goldfish.
And I said
If you're going to be an apartment dweller in New York on the 100th floor.
Yeah. Well, the people that live over in the senior apartment complex over there.
And they're little dogs that are litter trained.
That makes sense.
That's, I guess, okay.
But for most dogs, no.
Yeah, and I mentioned too, behaviorally, I know that dogs form a substrate preference, on the surface they're going to go on. So I'm like, get that dialed in. If you have grass outside, get them going on grass. I mean, if you train on pads, then they just prefer to go on pads, and when you get rid of the pads, then they're going to start hitting doormats and area rugs.
Right.
My previous golden retriever, I got him in February, so he learned to go outside in the snow, and then of course the snow went away eventually. Mm-hmm. And he would go to whatever snow he could find to eliminate, and as the snow got smaller and smaller and smaller, he was trying to do his thing on this little tiny patch of snow. And it was it's all right, buddy. You can use the grass. It's true about substrate. Because all he knew was snow.
Where's the snow going?
The one last mound. Very yellow.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. Zepp is playing tonight.
Oh, really? Don't eat that yellow snow.
Oh, right. Oh, my gosh. That's right.
Sorry.
Kathy'd be the only one that got that.
No, I got it.
We digress.
I got it. Yeah.
I was going to try to go to that.
That's funny. So is there anything else? I mean, that really covered the big bullet points I had in my head. Was there anything else that you felt like was important to mention about early socialization or puppies in general? Or, I mean, heck, we're here with the cameras rolling, anything, period.
I think something that comes out of my mouth all the time, Ashley can attest to that, is people don't give their pets enough exercise. I think so many behavior problems can be solved by increasing the amount of exercise, so physical and mental stimulation. And if I can get people to start that from the very babyhood on, I think it makes dogs so much happier to have that kind of, have
it's
that
so much more enjoyable to be with.
Yeah,
huh?
they are. That's the old good dog or tired dog is a good dog, and it's true. But just, I think people.
That's a good point.
People often, they've got this wonderful old Labrador, and it's 12 years old, and all it's done is snooze on the couch for the last 3 years. And poor thing, it's time for it to pass, and it passes. And then they get a Labrador puppy, and they're like completely frustrated by this puppy because it's busy. And they don't know what to do with a busy dog, and it's like,
perpetual motion.
Yeah, so I think that's important for folks to realize, and that information could certainly be imparted not just through veterinarians, but anybody that comes into contact with people with their puppies.
Oh my goodness,
like
I preach that gospel all the time. Well, I mean,
he runs around in the backyard. That's not enough. Take him for a walk.
Right. Well, and unsupervised, like just boot him out the door, and then I mean that's boring.
Yeah.
That's like getting on a treadmill and staring at the corner.
Yeah, and potentially dangerous because he's bored, so he's going to eat trees and sticks and mulch and rocks and dig giant craters in your backyard.
Right.
And,
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, the work I do at the SPCA, I'm their behavior training manager.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
And that's a lot of what we do there is just the enrichment piece is just like, let's get some physical and let's get some mental. We're going to go in the activity pen.
Sure.
I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to have you doing things. We're going to play some structured games, and it works.
Yeah.
It works.
You're doing nose work, right?
Yep.
Because that's a marvelous thing to start young dogs on.
I
Because
agree.
you don't need any structure to that. It's like that's what they do naturally, and if you can channel that and focus it, they love it. And it's talk about mental stimulation.
Oh man, yeah.
They're exhausted after that.
Yeah.
I've been doing that with Judy. We've been doing some nose work stuff, and I track with my dogs too. So
super.
And they're just. It's very hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that the scent processing center is the biggest part of the brain. It's 40 times larger than it is in ours.
Sure.
I mean, so when they start doing that stuff, their brain lights up like a Christmas tree. It's
Right.
super.
And it doesn't take any effort on the human's part to do nose work.
It really doesn't.
You put a couple boxes with some birch in it and let them have at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally dog directed.
Yeah.
They just they gravitate. It's good stuff. Yeah, super. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else, guys?
Trying to think of other issues.
Even dog stuff.
Puppy
Yeah.
classes.
I think the puppy stuff is like you brought up is just so important that this is your chance to develop this awesome relationship, hopefully for a long time, that is going to be treasured, and they have a great life. But there's that period that people have to realize it's what you put into it is what you get out of it.
That's a good point.
So, if you just bring them in the house and close them up and let them do whatever they want to do, and they have no structure, they don't know what's expected of them, that's not happy. That's not a happy dog. They need direction, just like a child does. So I really stress to folks, all right, we got this 8-week-old pup, and it's really going to be the next 6 months that are going to mold what she becomes. Mm-hmm. And that's really up to you.
Right.
So if you put this time in, it's going to get paid back so many times. Otherwise, you're going to have a housemate that's a pain in your neck.
Yeah.
And it's not really that happy.
Right. I think, gosh, I feel like one of the most frustrating things I get is people that say, like, hey, I need some help with my puppy. Okay, what's going on? Well, he's just wants to bite everything. He makes a lot of noise, and he potties everywhere, and he's just kind of seems like he's hyperactive and really busy all the time. And I feel like
That's a puppy.
right. I mean, you know, that's like having a newborn
Just
baby
like a
and then
puppy.
being frustrated that it's pooping its pants. Like, what did you
Crying.
expect? Yeah, and it keeps you up at night.
Pooping in his pants.
Right.
They were the people that had that ancient Labrador. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it drives me bananas.
yeah. It's.
But if their solution is to kennel them up and isolate them out, and then it just gets worse.
Right. Right. You're trying to put out a fire with gasoline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Very troublesome. I think one of my goals is really to just educate as much as I can and just try to, in my own little world, you know, turn that around as much as possible and try to get as many.
You're not going to
people in
reach
there.
everyone. You will affect some.
Yeah.
And with your digital media,
that's
maybe
great.
more than you realize.
So
With the YouTube channel and everything like that.
hope so. Anything else that we need to throw on the heap?
I'm just kind of running through a puppy visit in my brain while.
Is there any like info that you send them with, or any like you know
Oh God, yeah.
like
His card.
paperwork Well, that's the first thing I would do for sure.
We have all kinds of links on the website, and that we used to, and we do have puppy kits, but we stopped trying to bundle this world of knowledge in a little box.
Right.
Here's a
We're
website.
trying to go paperless.
Yeah, I mean, most people I think are much more interactive
But
with, you know, the website than they are with 57 brochures and a bag of food in a box too. So
That's what we're
Doggy
working on
Star
at the shelter,
Daily,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
they probably don't read them all. I have a feeling that a lot of
well, that's
especially when they come back for their second one and they have no idea, like what we just talked about. It was in your puppy kit, so we know that they didn't read it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
yeah.
Very good. Well, great. Hey, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Great.
It's
Keep up your good
really
work,
great.
Ian.
I
Great
really
talking to
appreciate
you.
your time and your insights and just your professional perspective. And you've both been at the game for a long time. And thanks for sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
oh, it's our pleasure.
It was fun.
Our pleasure.
That was fun. Cool.
Great. Let's
Glad
do this
we're-
again.
We're happy
sometime.
to have you around. I feel good. I have someone I can trust to send clients.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. And as always, keep learning, keep practicing, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.